What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I'm sure you guys heard about this Reddit post that came out this past Saturday, which apparently contains leaked information about Call of Duty 2020 Zombies. And right when this came out, I tweeted that this is 100% fake. And the reason I'm saying this is fake isn't because the person is claiming that DLC 5 is canceled for Black Ops 4 Zombies. It's actually because I was just having a conversation with somebody, I think Friday, the day before this came out, and this person is pretty reputable in the community. You guys know exactly who this person is, and I won't name them for obvious reasons, but it might not be the person you guys are thinking about. I was reminded that Treyarch is nowhere near this level of detail for Call of Duty 2020, especially the Zombies mode, and only a couple of higher ups that work at Treyarch would know anything about some of these details. So again, take this as you may. This Reddit post was taken down, I want to say within like 20 minutes of it coming out, and people out there didn't get a chance to read it, but luckily I actually screenshotted everything that was in this Reddit post, and I'll be doing that from now on. So we're kind of going to go through this and break down each and every one of these points, debunk just about all of it, and I'm going to keep it real with you, Chief. It's a very long Reddit post, but I'm going to try to skim through this as fast as possible. So let's jump right into it. This was written by Will P. Laszlo, and they said, "No, these are information gathered last month. Changes may or not be made. Do not take all this information listed here as reliable, as some of it are not set in stone." So already some broken English here. That's a red flag here on Reddit. So starting off with general, COD 2020 is titled Call of Duty Black Ops 5, or V. And I'll get to that in a second. It is themed in the Vietnam War. Black Ops 5's logo in Zombies turns into the iconic 5 tally mark symbol. So, you know, it's been a popular theory for months that if Black Ops 5 takes place in Vietnam, the V could stand for both 5 and Vietnam. So, just a fan theory, and, you know, Zombies turning into the iconic 5 tally mark, you know, again, another fan theory that can easily be made up by just about anybody with a brain. The weapons are similar to the ones used in World at War. The game is built on the new engine version used by Infinity Ward with Modern Warfare. No shit, you know, they already confirmed that the engine Modern Warfare uses will be the engine that all future Call of Duties will end up using, so we knew that. Here's the juicy part. Black Ops 3 and 4 will not receive any new DLC packs. Okay, of course Black Ops 3 is not going to receive any more DLC. You know, why would they kind of, you know, work backwards and put out DLC for Black Ops 3 instead of 4? It's kind of counterproductive, you know, in my opinion. Transit, Die Rise, and Buried are not planned for remasters. The studio is exploring on utilizing the scrapped content across all the games, such as the Paris map for Black Ops 1. Now, it's funny because I just covered this, I think it was a week ago. The Paris map, of course, was kind of ripped apart, and some assets were used for Moon, some assets were used for Origins, and in terms of Paris ever being a map in the future, I was told by a reliable source, right, who's been right in the past, that Paris was being, you know, kind of written out and storyboarded for another Chaos map, but I don't know how far in development that got, so I don't think Paris would even be a map for a potential Ether reboot or a new iteration. It was probably something for Chaos, but who knows. No current plan on loot boxes, but there might be a season pass. That's questionable because Modern Warfare is getting rid of the tired old system with the Season Pass and paid DLC. And sure, there'll be DLCs, you know, locked behind paywalls in the future, but I don't think the system in the next Call of Duty will kind of go back to the system that Black Ops 4 is on. I'm sure they'll kind of stay true to what Modern Warfare is trying to do with free DLC updates and then some occasional DLCs that are kind of bigger in the form of an expansion that's locked behind a paywall, but I don't see them backtracking what they just did with Modern Warfare. But who knows? And I don't think they're anywhere near a level to be talking about DLC when the main game has not been laid out yet. So that's already a red flag there with this information. None of the planned maps are remastered nor remade content. They will all be original. Easy guess. A faction system is being developed utilizing the discontinued content from Black Ops 4. So what I will say is that any content that was going to be used with factions in Black Ops 4 ended up being released anyway in the black market and was kind of locked behind paywall. So none of that content was really wasted. It was just the system itself that was scrapped and replaced by contract. So the person who wrote this could have just been someone similar to Grizz, who just absolutely is obsessed with factions and hopes that it comes into the next game. But again, I don't know how that's going to happen. Other game modes such as Gauntlet, Rush, Grief, and Turn are being planned to return. Easy guess. A third Dead Ops Arcade is being planned on. Will feature maps from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 4, along with the story, 4 characters being Ultimis. And I want to say Treyarch either subs out Dead Ops to a different dev team, or maybe they do it themselves. I'm just not sure. But, you know, Dead Ops 1 came out in Black Ops 1. The game was on a 2-year cycle, so that was impressive. They didn't do another Dead Ops until Black Ops 3, but that game had a full 3 years of development, so it makes sense why, you know, they were able to have time to put that in. But to do another Dead Ops, I would say the game needs at least 2 years of development, and the game is under huge time constraints. Sure, they have Sledgehammer and Raven to help them, but I'm not sure if they could pull off another Dead Ops with this game that's not going so well behind the scenes. But I would love to see this. I would love a third Dead Ops, and I think if Zombies goes in a new direction with a new story, a new crew, maybe not even Chaos or not a story that's in the Ether umbrella, then it could be cool to see kind of a non-canon Dead Ops Arcade 3 with the, you know, original Ether crew, Ultimis. That would be great. I think it's very cool maybe to sell the game. They would probably market this a lot more because it has the original crew. You know, that's promising, but I don't think any of that would be planned as of now, but you never know. Separation of story and survival mode. Specifics on survival mode below. Another theory that, you know, I think has been floating around for a few months now, I mean, maybe even longer, and it's the idea that when Zombies comes back with Black Ops 5, they should think of a new way to kind of re-envision the mode and kind of bring it back with a new spice. And I think a good way to do that is to, yeah, separate story and survival, where story would be more like a campaign mission with a lot of quests and a lot of cutscenes, mid-game cutscenes, you know, a lot to do with the story, obviously. And then survival mode would be done in a separate, you know, menu or a separate tab on the menu, which I think is a good idea so that you don't have to worry about holding a zombie while you're doing a quest or holding a zombie while you're looking at something you're hunting, right? You could just do the story, do the Easter egg, and hunt without having to worry about endless hordes coming behind you, but then still keep that horde mode to, you know, keep the mode true to itself. I think that's a good separation there, but again, something that's been floating around for a while, probably isn't true when it comes to this Reddit post. When it comes to map and story specifics, the game will have one confirmed map at launch. There are plans for a second map that might be released with a season pass. The first map is larger than Transit's whole area. The map does not have a name yet. The map is set in France. Again, I personally don't think Zombies is ever laid out or planned that much this early on, but maybe because the game is under huge time constraints, maybe they are planning it early. But I would say they really focus on campaign, a little bit of multiplayer first, then Zombies is kind of like a last minute resort, but it could be changing that this time around. And it's an easy guess to be like, yeah, the game's under huge time constraints, so there's only going to be one map with a possible second. The map does not have a name yet. No shit. I think it's too soon for that. The Ether is the only storyline. Okay, so in the Ether umbrella, I guess, Ultimis, Primus, and Victus will no longer be continued as core characters. Okay, a new story is created. Kind of contradictory. A new story is created in the Ether multiverse. A new set of characters and timeline is made for this new title. 4-player crews as always. Okay. Survival. The game mode will act similar to Black Ops 2 Survival, so I guess subsection maps where you can kind of take a big map and break it apart. That's something I was talking about recently where I'm like, to add more replayability, you don't have to add 4 maps at launch. You could have one really good, huge map, break that map apart, and then you can do survival and other game modes on those subsections like Black Ops 2, but to a bigger extent, right, with the current gen hardware we have. That's a good idea. Same characters as story mode. Again, you probably heard that from the Gaming Revolution, who his source actually told him that they were considering using the same campaign crew for this new Zombies iteration, so you probably heard that from him. All weapons and gear are available through walls of the mystery box. Custom classes will still be used. Perks are available. Gobble Gums are available. Okay. Next up we have Pack-a-Punch are available. You know, no shit. It wouldn't be Zombies without it. Easter egg quests are disabled except for the music Easter egg. Quest weapons and equipment will be available in the mystery box. No buildables. That's kind of going backwards, I would say. And another reminder, the only thing we actually know for a definitive fact right now, thanks to the Gaming Revolution and his inside sources, is that the first mission, or the first campaign mission, I should say, of Black Ops 2020 or Black Ops 5 does involve Alex Mason. So regardless of what this game is called, it will be some type of reboot or spin-off to the Black Ops franchise using familiar characters from the Black Ops universe. Might be a similar direction like Modern Warfare is taking, where it's using familiar faces but in a whole new universe. We just have to wait and see. System mechanics. The game will return to the traditional system mechanics, old perk system, old scoring system. Pack-a-Punch will adopt the Black Ops 4 mechanic. AATs are not returning. Gobble Gums are set for a return. Kind of contradictory, I would say. Talisman are not returning. Again, they were kind of useless in BO4 because very little people actually had them, and there's no real way to actually get them without relying on RNG from the plasma you get and some, titanium trebles or tungsten triplers. That's the only real way to guarantee yourself some good talismans. So sucks that we didn't see more of them in game. Creative class will be returning in different ways. 150 health or 3 hits to down. Mystery box will be overhauled to not rely on random mechanics. Specific weapons will be returning, but modified. The old perk system will return. Juggernaut, Speed Cola, Double Tap, Root Beer from Black Ops 1, even though Double Tap was really enhanced for Black Ops 2 and forward, so not sure why they would go back to classic Double Tap, which I think is definitely inferior to the new version of Double Tap we had in Black Ops 2 and 3. Base perks appear in all maps alongside the Wonder Fizz machine. Again, easy guess to be like, people didn't like BO4's perks, or at least the majority didn't, so let's bring back the old system. Super easy guess. The perk system will adopt Black Ops 4's modifier slot, which is slot number 5. So we're going to 5 perks, similar to IW. I guess that's what this person's saying. There's a new perk planned. Cool. Some perks from Black Ops 1, 2, and 4 will be reintroduced. Widow's Wine will not return. Approaching the machine can remove a perk if desired. That's from IW. Removing a perk will move all the perks to fill it in. 5th perk will move to the 4th slot if 2nd perk is removed, removing its ability to have a modifier. For Gobble Gums, many of the gums from Black Ops 3 will be used. The amount of gums you have in BO3 and BO5 will be the same if they are present in BO5. Monty's Laboratory and Newton's Cookbook will be reused. So they couldn't get Malcolm McDowell for BO4. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing his return in the next Black Ops game. If it's in the Ether universe, this new story, and we're playing as a new crew, it would be cool to see Monty's return and then his influence on the story going forward. But I guess it would be a prequel to Taggart Toten, kind of what he was doing, kind of on the sidelines in between BO3 and 4. That would be kind of cool. But again, this is definitely fake, so, wishful thinking here. Certain gums are modified to create better balance. You can only carry 5 Gobble Gums per match. You can activate any of the 5 Gobble Gums by pressing D-pad. You can select which to activate by holding a certain button. What else here? Each Gobble Gum will have a 3-minute cooldown. There's so many details here that aren't even worth mentioning, because it's like, for somebody to take the time out of their day to fake something like this, I think is just absurd. Like, you must have nothing else to do but to sit down and theorize, put together leaks you might have heard from potential reliable sources, and then kind of make this to win people's trust. And then you're kind of throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks, and then hoping that for the shit that does stick, you kind of gain some type of credibility so people come back to you for information, so you gain more clout and karma on Reddit. I guess that's what this guy's goal is, but Perk Up will only grant you random 5 perks. Perkaholic will grant you the 4 base perks and a random 5th perk, so I guess copying Black Ops 4's Perkaholic. Soda Fountain will give you a random perk. No Gobble Gum will grant a perk after having 5 perks active. Create a class. You can customize your weapons in startup loadout. Your starting pistol can be changed but cannot have attachments. The current pistols you can choose are Colt, 1911, Mauser, Remington, New Model Army. So I guess we're getting the same pistols we had in previous Black Ops games. Nothing new. The starting grenade can be changed. The current grenades you can choose are Frag, Semtex, Claymore, Stick. You can choose 5 Gobble Gums to bring in ammo, I think that says. The starting grenade can be changed. I think I read that already. You can choose a special weapon to bring in a game. Okay. You can choose 5 other perks as your Wonder Fizz loadout. Base perks will always appear in the map. The current special weapons you can choose are Wonderwaff, the Ragnaroks, Path of Sorrows, TAM-23, Immobilizer, the 3179 JGB-215 Baby Gun, the Ray Gun, and the Flamethrower. So I don't know if they would do more than 4 specialists for just the same crew. I think it makes sense and is reasonable to be like, okay, it's the same starting crew in just about every map, so let's keep it down to like 4 different specialists you can choose from, and each one of those specialists is kind of tied to one of the characters in the starting crew, but it's not exclusive to that character. You can kind of choose freely, like in BO4. I don't think they would add something like the Baby Gun as a specialist weapon. That's kind of weird. Again, I'm going to post these screenshots in like a Dropbox link that'll be in the description, as well as a pinned comment down below if you guys want to read this in more detail without my narration behind it. And I also skipped each of the levels for the specialists that are apparently going to be in this game, so if you guys want to read that, again, it'll be down below. And again, the odds of this person having this much information, the odds of remembering all of this to such detail is just ludicrous. Again, like I was talking with a very known influencer a couple of days ago, the people at Treyarch right now are trying to get things off of posted notes and get things actually developed and laid out in game with the help of Sledgehammer and Raven. But you gotta remember, Treyarch is also taking over a project that wasn't going well, right? It was like a Cold War setting Call of Duty campaign. I think parts of it are also in Vietnam. So Treyarch has to take that, add their own spin to it, and make it work while also potentially being a reboot to the Black Ops universe. So that doesn't mean it'll be like an Ether reboot by any means, but it means that it will have some elements and vibes to it that we're used to going back to like Black Ops 1 and 2. So they have to make all of this work, and I don't think the level of detail about zombies would be anywhere near complete like it is in this Reddit post as of right now. They're still trying to finish the campaign. As reliable sources said, they're trying to make the campaign fun, and then they got to work on multiplayer. But with the extra dev team's help, I'm sure that to an extent a lot is written down on post-it notes or in documents, and they're kind of handing off, you know, each section of the game to different parts of the dev teams to work on, and then they'll kind of square up after a couple weeks of work to see how it's, you know, actually working out from a gameplay point of view. But I don't think this much level of information would ever go to one person, you know, if not multiple people. I think very specific segments of these dev teams would know this, and I think to combine all of that together would take, you know, somebody who's very high up either at Activision or Treyarch. So very unlikely this is even possible to leak. I think even a QA tester wouldn't have tested this much, because they do have different QA testers for different modes. They have different QA testers testing different parts of a mode. So you wouldn't have the same person testing all of this at once. That just does not make sense, especially this far away from an actual release date of Call of Duty 2020. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Check all links again down below in the description for a link to all these screenshots. It got deleted pretty quickly after I actually tweeted out that it was fake. And again, you know, some of these things on here could be an example of like, let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because then if stuff does stick, it'll make the leaker seem credible. That's probably what this is. But again, I went through this in this long video in case you guys were interested in what exactly this said. Leave all your thoughts down below. Be on the lookout for more Black Ops 4 Year 2 coverage, as well as coverage of Call of Duty Mobile and Zombies for that game when it does drop very, very soon. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.